All right. Well, thanks for hopping into my free pop-up workshop. I'm probably going to do a couple of these a month, different topics. And what I wanted to talk about today is the power of three. This is a strategy that I have actually been coaching agents on for a very long time. It's one of the most powerful strategies to help agents really scale their business. And it's a small portion of a longer class that I typically teach. So I do a whole thing on generating the lead is the easy part. And then I'm just pulling out this concept of the power of three. So it's just a little mini workshop. Everything that I'm going to talk about today, you will get a copy of. So I'm going to reference a couple of different files, documents, and then just this short little presentation will also be a recording that you can go back and look at. So people are like, well, what is the power of three? So the power of three is all about helping you understand the importance of leverage and the importance of a pipeline. So if you think about real estate and all the agents that are out there, 95% of the realtors are all competing for someone that needs to buy or sell today. That's pretty much what we're taught. So most of the trainings that are out there are, how do you go find someone that's ready to do something, right? That's why we like FISBOs, because they're raising their hand saying, hello, I'm trying to sell my house, right? And then we're looking at expireds. It didn't sell. Maybe they still need to sell. So we're constantly trying to generate leads for the person that's looking now, which is great. I would never say not to do that, but we shouldn't only be thinking about that. So if you think about engagement and how do I engage and grow, it's all about leveraging the current clients that you do have. So the whole purpose of the power of three is I teach folks to be a bulldog. I mean, I'm talking about so proactive and intentional that this is where your focus becomes. And it's for every one buyer or seller that you are currently working with. You are proactively, intentionally trying to get three more pieces of business. Now, when I talk about three more pieces of business, doesn't have to mean that it's three people that are ready to buy or sell today. Now, hopefully some of those are, right? But you're also looking to start the process of engagement with new relationships. So even for those of you that have ever done Buffini, it's all about that weekly activity is to add new people to your database. So we are continually trying to add new people to the database. So I'm going to teach you several different, very proactive and intentional ways to get three more names, if you will, three more contacts, or three more pieces of business or more from every current buyer or seller. And I don't see agents leveraging this nearly enough. When I hear someone say, oh, I put a sign in the yard and we were under contract in 3 hours, I'm thinking, oh, what a bummer. You're not going to get enough time to leverage that listing because it sold so fast. And rather than follow a set plan, a lot of agents just are so excited that they got it off the market and they're not growing from that one piece of business. They are missing so much opportunity. So it doesn't matter if it's a slow market, medium market, or fast market. What I'm teaching here is for you to put these systems in place regardless of the market. Your marketing does not have to follow the same speed of the sale. You need to have a proactive and intentional plan that you execute with every client regardless. And if you will follow these timeframes, this is how I help agents scale their business. This is how agent that comes to me and says, I did 10 last year, I want to do 50. Well, I don't know if I can take them from 10 to 50 in 1 year, but I can systematically help them get from 10 to probably 18 or 19 pretty quick if they will put this strategy in place. So that's what we're going to go through today. relatively quickly. It's not a very difficult concept. It's just you deciding what you're going to execute on and make a non-negotiable in your business. So before I get started on that, I always love to pull up this slide because I think it helps bring some clarity and focus into your marketing efforts. And this pyramid is from the 7 levels of communication. If you have not read this book, it's just a game changer. You need to read this book. It really helps you understand what type of efforts you're putting out there, and then it'll help you with a proper expectation of what you can expect in return. And what I mean by that with this pyramid is the more you go up the pyramid, the higher your impact on actually getting a new client. Are we going to do all 7 of these? Yes, we are. But we need to have the expectation of what we're going to get in return. So are we going to advertise? Sure. Are we going to do direct mail? Absolutely. Emails, 100%. But those 3 activities, you need to have the expectation and the understanding that when you are doing those, you are in the informational zone. And what that means is you're going to spread out. You can get a lot of people. You can hit a lot of people with information, but even though it looks like it's high because it's at the bottom, it's a low impact because all you're doing is providing information. You're not in a 2-way communication zone. You're in information, which we all need to do. Now, handwritten notes are going to sit in the middle because handwritten notes are actually extremely powerful. They can have a huge impact on your business, and they don't even have to have 2-way communication. It's you putting forth that external effort and that energy that goes out that's going to linger with people a lot longer, and it does have a very good impact. The influential zone, the area that we want to hang out in, is voice to voice, face to face. And if we can do events and seminars, that's great too. But once you get to the one-on-one, that's where the decisions are made. So decisions are typically rarely made when we do a direct mail piece, right? Because we're just providing information. So we need to have the intent that when we advertise direct mail and email, how are we going to get them to re-engage with us? How are we going to get them to answer? What's our call to action so that I can get them to a phone call or to a meeting or to a seminar, right? I can have a lot of influence over y'all because we're communicating, we're face to face, we're voice to voice. If I record this like I'm doing and I get it to the people that want to watch it later, I don't have the opportunity to engage with them. So I still did it. But if I'm trying to get you to do something to move forward with me, it's rare that it's going to happen here. I still have to get people to the next stage. So everything that you do, every ad, every direct mail, and every email needs to have a call to action that is driving that client to get to either a phone call, a meeting, or an event. That is your goal. We're going to do all 7. But when someone comes to me and they say, well, I sent out 500 mailers, I sent out 500 mailers. I'm like, okay, well, what was the call to action? How did you get them from the information zone to the influential zone? So I want you to always think of that and maybe even print out this in every lead generating activity you do, which when I'm working with an agent or a client, everything that they do, we code. Where are you on the pyramid? And their chances of growing their business always improve when they hang out in the influential zone. So you get to decide, but just have the proper expectation. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So it's all about you being proactive and intentional. Spontaneous and reactive realtors have a really difficult time creating any kind of consistency or confidence in their pipeline. I see a hand going up, right? Consistent changes everything, right, Kim? And that's the whole thing. We've got to get consistent. Spontaneous and reactive realtors are stressed out. They're the hamster on the wheel, and it's just not a great place to hang out in. I'd much rather be proactive and intentional, have my plan, go execute it, and now I'm good to go. So part of the growing by 3 is going to include mailers. Now, I love my Farm 40, and that we're going to talk about the Farm 40 today, but just everything I talk about in this Farm 40, just know you can do on a bigger scale. And you can decide which activities are going to make sense. But I love to kind of share this conversion table because these are tried and true numbers, tried and true. And these have been tracked by many before us. So we don't have to reinvent wheels. We need to look at what works and set an expectation for ourselves. So just as a point of reference, whenever people pick their 3 sales channels, I pretty much have a conversion table that has been, tested for that sales channel. And I ask you just to print it out and put it up on the wall so that you have that. Again, it's about expectations. When you smart farm, and we're going to talk about just doing 40 units, but just look at this in year 1. If you were to pick a farm area of 250 and mail out to those 250 every single month, and say it was a cost of 50 cents per mailer, probably higher now, maybe 75 cents. 75, that's 3,000 mailers times 75 cents. That shows you your yearly investment. So it's about whatever 75 times 3,000 is. So if it's 1,500, it's still less than 3,000 for the year. Most agents try to mail way too many and they do it way too short. So they spend all their money and they don't do it long enough. If you just start with 250 and do it every single month, that's a total investment of $1,500. The conversion rate's about 1%. I actually, in my experience, personally, with the people that I work with, that number is higher. They'll get anywhere from 4 to 8 transactions in year 1 is what I'm seeing. And that's with 250 mailers. Now look at the average sale price, 150. We don't even have that anymore. I don't know anywhere where the average sale price is 150. So replace that 150 with where you want to farm. What's the average price? You get to pick. So if you pick a $500,000 neighborhood and you do 250 mailers every single month and you get 3 pieces of business back at 3%, that's blows 13.5 out of the water for your return on investment. So even if we kept it at 150, I invested 1,500 in this example, and I made 13,500. Now you could just stay doing 250 year after year. Your conversion rate's going to go up, but this is designed to teach you that after 12 months, you could take 25% of that 13.5 and 25% of the number of people that you're investing in and increase. So you would go from 250. You'd go up to 313. So you'd add that. So now you're mailing to more people and you just grow systematically. So some people are always like, oh, does this really work? Well, I have, Facebook post from a good friend of mine that started in a neighborhood with had 118 homes. And he started in year 1. He got, I think, 2 pieces of business. His last post was 4 years later and he was already up to his 37th sale. And what was good about that was that he would actually post and say, I think I have the picture of it, but number 37 in Stockton Walk sold. That was by like year 4. So if you will be consistent, look at what the magic could be if you actually reinvested and increased your numbers that much. 77 closed transactions after year 5. Oh, okay, I'll take it. So you just need to be thinking about how can I become consistent? So this is just a small snippet for a large scale farm. I'm going to talk about how am I going to grow my business by 3 every time I get a sale, like a sign in the yard, right? You can do all this for buyers too. It's just going to look a little different. So when you put a listing in the yard, the Farm 40 is labor intensive, but the return is pretty darn high. Because what you're doing is you're creating a buzz with around the 40 people next to your client. Most people know some of their neighbors, right? Most people know some of their neighbors. So when you put that sign in the yard and you say, you know what, these next 40 over the next 6 months, I'm going to get business from these 40, not tomorrow. Not today. That's the big problem. Most people don't have patience. They're not all in and they're not willing to endure. So they get frustrated and they chase after the next shiny object instead of dialing down and putting this into place, and it becomes a non-negotiable. this becomes a non-negotiable, your business goes through the roof. Because statistics are, when one sign goes in the yard, there's 7 to 10 more families within a mile of that property that are going to list in the next 6 months, not the 6 minutes, not in 6 days, in 6 months. So our strategy needs to be, I need to be hanging out in this neighborhood for a minimum of 6 months if I want to take advantage of all the other people that are probably going to end up listing. You might not get them all, but wouldn't it be great if you got 1 or 2? And the way I have gotten agents to really buy into this is by having them, they need to see the proof. So this is what I challenge everyone to do. The next time you get a listing and you would like to have more in that neighborhood, but you're not really sure if you want to believe this or not, put yourself on a saved search from the MLS to yourself. I list a house in the Villages today. I go into the MLS and I go to the Villages and I put myself on a saved search so that the minute another house gets listed, I get notified. That's going to show me what my sign partly produced for other people, business. So you're either going to try to capture that business yourself because it's your sign, or you're going to help some other agents win. It's your choice. Every agent, if they have a healthy distribution of buyers and sellers, should typically be 40% listings, 60% buyers, because every sign should produce 3 more pieces of business. You're either helping other agents get that business or you're growing yourself. Otherwise, you're ignoring it and you're missing the opportunity. So you can do a big farm, which I teach, or you can do this small little farm 40, which is labor intensive, not going to lie. You could have an assistant, kids, help, whatever. But what you're going to do, the sign goes up. First thing you do is you ask your current client when you're on the appointment, hey, now that you're putting your house on the market, is there anybody else in the neighborhood that I should be talking to about potentially helping them? See, a lot of times your clients know other people are going to be selling, but they're not thinking about telling you about that because you didn't ask them. So now you plant that seed the very first time, maybe when you've already gotten the listing and you're going back to put in the sign or whatever. And it can kind of be an afterthought. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I was just thinking, since I'm marketing your house, it's always a great time to market more homes because we're probably going to generate a lot of interest and only one person gets to buy your house. So all those other poor buyers, we need to find more homes for them. Do you know of anybody else that's thinking of putting their house on the market now or in the next 6 months? Oh, well, now that you mention it, yeah, Joe and Sue said they're going to move in the summer. Great. Is it okay? Do you have their contact info? Do you know their address? I'd be happy to go introduce myself and see if I can't be of service. That's what a professional does, right? So that's the first thing. Don't ever forget to ask your client. And now you planted a seed. So they might be like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. But see, now they're going to remember when someone else says, oh, we might be moving, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you need to talk to Kim. You need to talk to Holly. You need to. So make sure that you do that. So that's the first thing. The next thing you're going to do, you put that house on the market and you're going to do a handwritten note to 40 of the neighbors. I know, labor intensive, big return, huge return. So you're going to maybe already have the script figured out on what you want to write. Maybe you have somebody write those notes for you. It needs to be handwritten. I know people are going to be like, oh, I'm just going to have it printed at Vistaprint. Okay, well, you're just going to knock down the impact. You can do that, but it's not going to have the same. So it needs to be maybe 3 or 4 sentences. Hi, whatever. This is Holly. I just put your neighbor's home on the market for whatever. If you know of anybody that wants to move into this great community, would you mind passing on my card or information? That's it. You're just introducing the fact that you're marketing the house. You can come up with the verbiage that you like, include your business card, needs to be hand addressed, stamped, and mailed. So now you're going to create this buzz because I guarantee you some of the neighbors know your client. And they're going to get a handwritten note. And the first thing they're going to be is like, they're going to call your client. They're going to be like, dang, your agent does this. So you're going to be demonstrating to all the neighbors how you serve your client and what you do to market the home. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to call. So the note goes out. You might wait a few days. Then you're going to go ahead and make a phone call. And you can get those numbers from RedX. You can get them from Remine, whatever. The numbers that you can find, great. If you can't find the numbers, whatever. It's okay, because you're also going to be walking around the 40, get your steps in, and you're going to drop off a little brochure about the house and your card. It's like, well, that seems redundant. They can just look it up online. Doesn't matter. We're doing things different. We don't take the shortcuts because we are trying to leverage our listing, and we work hard for the money. We work hard for the money. Where's my microphone? Right? We work hard for the money. No, we need to go and show people that we are different. We got it going on. So you're going to go and you can drop that off. You can knock on the door, whatever. If you want to combine this with an open house, great. You can bring the brochure, invite them to the open house. I do encourage you kind of time this strategically. We actually launch our listings. We don't just list it on a day that just sounds good. We actually have a whole plan behind it. It's called the listing launch. But at any rate, you can combine it with an open house and go and invite them and personally invite them, give them a brochure, get a neighbors welcome sign for all. Every time you have an open house, I encourage you to buy a sign that says neighbors welcome. Then they don't have to feel like they have to come up with a script and pretend that they're from California and they just wanted to, we're just here visiting. No, you want to encourage them to come and see the house. Then you're going to continue with your other marketing, the new listing letter. The new listing letter goes out to 40 or the whole neighborhood. So this can apply for as much as you want to do, but typically the Farm 40, you're just picking 40 so you can keep this succinct and just get it done, and you can repeat it. And you don't have to do everything on here. You can just say, I'm doing these 4 things. I'm doing it, but you do them every single time. So the new listing letter goes out and it just says, I've listed this property. It may have affected your value. So, and I'll show you an example of it. So that gets mailed. So now they've gotten a note card, a phone call, a brochure dropped on their door. Now they're getting a letter that says, hey, I listed the house and it may have impacted your home's value. If you would like to know your current equity position, I'd be happy to get that over to you, however you'd like to receive it, email, whatever. So then we get that done. Now we start with our 4 postcard series. Right? Every time you get a listing, we do 4 postcards. And I'm doing this regardless of whether it goes under contract in 4 hours or 40 days. It doesn't matter. These postcards go out strategically to last 6 months. So today I list it. I order the just listed postcard. The just listed postcard is telling a story. It's going to talk about your skills, your strategies, the fact that your clients chose you, right? So that goes out to either 40, or you could do more if you want to do 250, whatever. That goes out right when it lists. Now, if we go under contract is not the same as selling. If we go under contract in 7 days, I don't then send out the under contract. I don't do that. I just make a note of when the sale occurred. So I say, okay, the sale, okay, it happened and I had multiple offers. I write a little note about what happened with it. Okay, I had 16 showings, because whatever happened with that is what you're going to put in the under contract postcard, but you're not going to send it right away. Because I need to stay in there for 6 months, because the bulk of the activity could be later. Remember, I said there's 7 to 10 other families that end up selling, but they might not be today, or they might not be in 30 days. So I want to make sure that I'm still an option for them, because if I'm in and out, I'm in and out of their mind too. I'm trying for them to hear who I am and what I do up to 8 times. When people hear from someone 8 times, that's the magic number. And this was studied by Hobbs Herder. 8 times people think you're the industry expert. But most agents combine just listed under contract in 48 days, 48 hours with 20 million offers. And they do one postcard one time and the people aren't moving yet. So they're like, oh, that's nice. There's no call to action. People just throw it out. 3 months later, they decide to move and they don't remember a darn thing about you because they only saw you once. So you cannot get into the trap of, oh, it sold so fast. I didn't even have to do anything. You should never look at it as I didn't have to do anything. You should be sad if you get a listing and it sells and you didn't get more business from it. That should be depressing for you. And if you'll flip the way you think, you'll start to realize the power of leverage in your own business. So you're going to wait about 40 days. Say it does go under contract. I'm certainly going to get through all of the contingencies. Not that a deal can't fall through after that, but typically not. So minimum 45, 50 days. I'm going to wait until I do the under contract. Then I might recap what happened. You know, my 15-point exposure plan generated 4 offers, 21 showings, and we were successful in gaining, securing buyers. I have all the verbiage done, and you can edit that verbiage. And then we always add, if you are considering a move now or in the next 6 months, we would like to talk to you now, right? And then we have a call to action. Would you like to stay informed every time a house goes up for sale or sells in the neighborhood? Go here to sign up. Or would you like a copy of this? You always have to offer something, and that should be taking them to a landing page. And I don't care what platform you have, you can do it in KV Core, you can do it where whatever you have, you can figure out a way to create that. It is not difficult. You always have to have a call to action. Then you'll do it just sold, but you'll wait, let it close, all that. I have agents that are sending out just sold postcards for houses they sold 10 months ago. You sold it. You don't have to say when it sold. You just say, I sold a home in this great community. We generated 12 buyers, right? Every agent that brings a buyer to your listing, you generated because you put it out in the universe. The agent brought the buyer, but so what? So now you can tell everybody, we generated 12 buyers, 6 offers, which means 5 people lost out. We need more inventory. So those are your 4 postcards, just listed, just sold, under contract, need more. But you want to space them out. And I have all the verbiage that I'll give you on that. Leverage social media. You should be doing video. You should be, every time you have a buyer, especially, as soon as you have a buyer, that should go on social media. You don't say their name, obviously, or anything like that. You just tell the universe what you're looking for. And I see this all the time. People, well, I already have inventory to show them. That's not the point. You're trying to get other people. You're demonstrating what you do to help your clients. So you pick from this list, what do I want to do for my Farm 40? This has a huge impact because now people are starting to talk, and then they're talking to your seller. Your seller's talking all the time about the transaction. So now you're able to demonstrate to 40 other people what you do. It's very, very effective. You can get this down where you become really efficient at figuring out how you're going to get all this done. What can you do ahead of time? And it's great. It keeps you busy. Remember, you have to have 35 contacts to get a new sale. This helps you have those conversations and those contacts, and you're growing your business by 3. So how do we do all this? Well, where do we track it? Well, this little document here, and you can edit this and customize it, put your logo on it. This is our listing tracker. So this is where the rubber hits the road. Most agents don't track their expenses, and they don't track the return on their sales. So here, this is every time you get a listing, you just put in the address, the listing dates, all the activities that you're going to do for this listing are all designed to get you at the bottom of it 3 new pieces of business. I say referrals, but it can be anything. So, and this needs to happen within 60 days of closing. That's the goal. So you keep this sheet. So we have, okay, I put the sign up, I put the logbox on, I set up my showing time. This keeps you on track. And then everything that you do, you're going to put the cost. Did you do a property boost? That's $60. What return did you get? Did you get the 8 to 12 contacts that are supposed to come into your KV Core account every time you boost property, or did you only get 2? You're going to track this stuff because over time you're able to see that was a win, that was a win, that worked, this worked. I have to be patient. I have to be all in. Most things work and agents know they work, but they don't track it. So they forget that it works. And then they get busy and they're like, oh, I don't need to do that. I have all this money coming in. And then all of a sudden they don't. And then all of a sudden they're like, ooh, what happened? You got to get consistent. Your just listed postcard, if you're only doing 40, you're talking, even if they're $1 a piece, that's $40. So you do 40 for just listed, 40 for here. What return did you get? You've got to track this stuff, right? Then 45 days professional photography. You might not get a return from that, except you might get more clients, right? Did you pay for that? Flyers, your farm 40. If there's extra things you do, go ahead and track all those expenses. You can edit this document. If you're like, I'm just going to do 40 of everything, 40 notes, 40, make this the way you want it. If you do an open house, remember, open houses have costs. You got to put signs out. You have to make it a party theme. You have to have your signage. I don't know if you want to run ads. You can do property boost on that. You can run ads. But remember, you should know your hourly rate. What are you worth an hour? You should know how much you earn an hour and make sure you're charging for that in your open house numbers. Did you notify all agents? Did you do a landing and squeeze page? Those are free. Did you send a thank you note to your client? Did you put your client on the seller report? When are you calling your client? Are you doing any videos for them? Then at the end, you have your total spend and your total net commission, and that's going to show you what your percent of your return on investment was. So we want to make sure that we're tracking. Did I get more people? And then at the bottom, you have your 3 new pieces of business. So between the referral tree, and yes, this is paper. I mean, can you track it in a CRM? Sure, you can. But I always feel like if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And that's the problem. We have all this technology and we only use part of it. I like to keep it right in front. Did you get 3 new pieces of business? So, if you get an accountability partner, everybody starts using this, and then it's like, hey, you closed. What's at the bottom of your sheet? It's called being proactive and intentional and consistent. When you start to see this working, you create the momentum. You'll never stop. Like, this is how people grow their business. You've got to track it. So this will keep you on track. So you'll get that document and you can edit it. Oops, you can edit it. And then also you want to just track monthly when you close each month. What was your sales volume? This is a real easy sheet. You got to look at it right here. How many listings did I sell last month? How many buyers? And then you're going to write out either the address or the client's name. And then on the source, you're going to say where that piece of business came from. So this is the additional tracker that you want to utilize. But this is where the rubber hits the road. So on the first Monday of every month, you should have one of these filled out for the month prior. And you should be analyzing, where is my business coming from? How can I go deeper with that source? That source worked. If it was a referral, don't just write the word referral in there. You need to write the actual person. Did I keep the person in the loop about what happened, with this deal? Give them updates. Did I reward them? Did I reinforce their behavior of sending me a piece of business, which you need to do with a personal note, a video, and a gift card, right? And how much do I know about my clients? So the more you know about your clients, the more you can reward them appropriately when they do send you business. And it's easier to stay connected to them because you know what's important to them. So the other 2 documents, or the other document that I think is good is, I don't think I put it in here. Let me pull it up real quick. Is just getting to know you. And you can create this as a Google form. I can send it to you as a form. But when you give this to your clients right away, their name, birthday, partner, kids' names, pets' names, favorite color, all this, I have this as a Google form. Now, a couple of good things. One, if they send me a referral, maybe I send them to their favorite restaurant. I give them a gift card to their favorite restaurant. The other reason this form is so good to get from your clients is based off of all their favorites. You could create a closing gift with like 5 or 6 items from something that they said was their favorite, and just have that gift wrapped with, like, if they went to Florida State, get them a little Florida State mug. If their favorite color is blue, get them something blue. If they have a certain flower, if they like a certain wine or a drink, fill that basket. You know the impact that that's going to have when they open it up and they're like, oh my God, that's my favorite. Oh my God, that's my favorite. It's because you found this out right in the beginning. So this is just kind of thing I threw in there for you, because I don't see a lot of people doing that for some reason, and I think that's a good one. Yeah, you like that? Okay, so that's how we grow by 3, and you always remember random acts give you random results, and that's my power of 3. And there's a lot of other stuff that you can do, you can utilize. That's up to you, but I'll open it up for Q&A, comments, things that you liked, aha moments, any of that fun stuff. Hi, Eric. Hey, Caitlin.
Hey, Holly, you mentioned a squeeze page along with a landing page. What is that?
So a squeeze page is something we're having a lot of success with that through KV Core, because we can create our own. And what that does is it is a page that you can promote on Facebook, that when people click on it, like you could say, hey, check out this great new property. Or if you want to know all the homes that have a pool, like that could be a landing page. If you want to see all the homes that already have a pool, click here. And then when they put in their email and phone number and click here, it takes them to your website with all those results already sitting there. So all the homes that have a pool will be
Is that
sitting
what the squeeze page is, or is that what is it the
so
same thing as the landing?
well, the landing page, they kind of can be used in tandem. So the landing page will have the squeeze page built into it. And that's what happens when they hit click. It takes
I got
them
you.
to the squeeze page.
I
So
got
the squeeze page is kind of the results
Okay. Yeah.
of where they're going. And
Gotcha.
you want to make sure that all of your communications, and I'll include the postcard verbiage, has some type of call to action. You've got to be sending them somewhere to be able to capture their information. And ultimately, when you're meeting with your neighbors, another thing you want to ask them around the listing is, if you get them face to face or when you're on the phone, hey, as a service, as a free service, I always provide market updates with what's happening in folks' neighborhoods. So would you like to be notified when a house goes up for sale or sells, so you can kind of keep your finger on the pulse of the market? Most people make decisions based on what's happening around them.
Yeah.
They a lot of times people's decision to buy or sell is indicative of market conditions. The other thing too, when you get your listing, I didn't put in the presentation, pull up all the expireds and all the withdrawals and find that phone number. You can go to Spokio, People, RedX, Remind, find the number or go to their house and say, I see that your home expired back whenever. Did you still want to move? Because I'm putting a house on the market around the block, and I'm generating a lot more opportunity from all of the marketing that I do. So we're going to have people that can't sell. I mean, the additional people that want to sell. So if you still want to get your home sold, I'd love for you to piggyback off of all the marketing I'm getting ready to do. So that's an easy phone call. Same thing with withdrawals. I see you withdrew the home before. Did you still have a need to get it sold? And that way, that's just opening up more conversations. And those are easy to knock on someone's door if they expired, because you're not just randomly going, you're going with a purpose. Hey, I'm listing the house around the corner. I'd love to market more than one, because we're generating more opportunity. We're generating more buyers than we have listings for. So it gets you out there talking. And again, they might even know the seller, and they might be like, dang, I'm impressed with your agent. Remember, you're demonstrating who you are and what you do. That's huge. All right. Any other questions or comments?
Fantastic as always.
Thank you, Eric. Okay. Well, I will send the recording and all those resources. And if you need any other additional information or clarification on how to implement, just let me know.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Holly.
All right. We'll talk to you all soon.
Okay. Have a good day.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.